Hello everyone. So in this video we will solve an example of simple LR parser, which is SLR, or we can say LR0. We have this example and we know it is in the bottom of parsing in the table driven LR parsing. Okay, so steps to follow. First of all, we will see if it contains epsilon. If it does, then it will yield a gives dot. Okay, and then a gives dot xyz. When we have go to of a on x, it will produce this one, then on a of y it will produce this production, and then on a of z this will be produced. If you are confused over here, no worries, you will understand this while solving the example. Okay, so what is augmented grammar? First of all, we will make the augmented grammar, that is, if s is the starting symbol, then new starting symbol for the augmented grammar will be the s dash, and will have the production s dash gives dot of s. Okay, and then after dot there is a non-terminal, so we will write the productions of s, which will lead us to write the whole grammar. So let us proceed to the next one, that is a closure operation. So if a gives alpha, b beta in the closure I1, then we add production of b, that is b equals to gamma. We apply it until no new items can be added. Every item of a state of I is in closure of I. Okay. Go to operator. If A gives alpha dot xb, which is in the state I, then we define go to I on x as A gives alpha x dot b. You can see the dot was shifted from alpha dot to x dot, and then we will put the values of shift and reduce in the table. So shift is what? S gives s dot, so state except in table, and all the state shift in action, and state or completed new states are in the go to by using the numerical form, that is 1 in place of I1. Okay, and reduce in the follow of the final state, that is if A gives x dot. Okay, so let us solve this example. So check whether the following grammar is SLR grammar or not. We have S gives small a, capital A, B, and then we have the productions of A. Okay, so first of all, what we have to do is we will write the augmented grammar. That is, we will have a new starting symbol, that is S dash. Okay, so before that, let us find out the first and follow, because we will need follow for like placing the values of the reduce in the parsing table. Okay, so first of s, that is small a only, and first of capital A, that is non-terminal, is small a because of A gives small a capital A, and B because of production A gives B. Okay, so now let us have the follow of these two, because we will write the reduce values in the parsing table in the follow of the finished states. Okay, so now follow of capital A. So in the first production, A was followed by small b, so we will write small b over here, and in the second one, A is followed by nothing, so it will go towards the like this A, and we will have the follow of capital A, so which is the same as that small b. Okay, and if you are not able to understand why I did this, then you should watch for sure my video on first and follow. Okay, so let us proceed ahead. First of all, we will write the augmented grammar. So first of all, the step 1, augmented grammar, and whatever the starting symbol, whether it was O, so we will write O dash. So here it was S, so I will write S dash, which gives the S, the starting symbol. Okay, now we have to write the dot before it, like that. Okay, now we have to write the like productions of all those, that is the closure part. Okay, and the go to part, that is we will see that in the next step. Okay, that is if go to of s on small a, so we would have written s gives a dot capital AB. Okay, now the thing is, you have to know, you have to write the a production separately. Okay, and then just naming those 0 1 2 3, because you will need it for writing the reduced part in the table. Okay, so now we will proceed ahead, and then we will write the table part. Okay, now step 2, that is go to and closure part. and we will have the states in this part only. That is, we will know how many states are there in this part only. Okay, so LR0 sets of item construction. So first of all, I0, that is the zeroth state, which will be the S dash goes to S dot. Okay, so let us write it down. So I0 state S dash gives dot S. So we will write the productions of S because there is a non-terminal after the dot. Okay, so we have written the productions of S. Now we will proceed ahead and we will have the go to S dash comma S, and it will have the closure as the production S dash gives S dot. Okay, so let us write it down. So go to of S dash comma S, which gives S dash production S dot, or we can directly write it as when we passed S on the I0 state, we will get the following part. Okay, so we will just write it as like that, or we can write it directly. Okay, so S dash gives S dot. So this is the final state. Let us proceed ahead with the I2 state. Okay, so let us write it down. So I2 would be like go to I0 on small a. Okay, which will give me the closure as S gives A dot capital A B, and as we have the non-terminal after the dot, we'll write the productions of A also. Okay, so let us write it down. So go to I0 on small a, or we can directly write what I0 on small a gives I2 state. Okay, so S gives A dot capital A B. Okay, so now as there is A after dot, that is a non-terminal, so we will write the productions of A, that is A gives small a capital A and A gives B. Okay, so let us write it down. So A gives small a capital A, and we have to write the dot before small a, and over here before the small b. Okay, now we have written the go to for both the productions of I0 state. Now we will proceed ahead. As I1 is already complete, we will proceed to the I2. Okay, so in the I2 we have to shift the dot. Okay, so in I3 what we will do is, as we have done the S dash and the second one also, so we'll mark a tick over there, and over here I have to move that dot after the capital A. So I will write go to I2 comma capital A, which will give me the production as S gives A capital A dot B. Okay, so let us write it down. So go to I2 on A, or we can say I2 comma A gives I3. Okay, I will write the same production, but I will move the dot from before capital A to after capital A. Okay, so S gives A, then non-terminal capital A dot B. Okay, so now let us proceed ahead to the next production, that is A gives dot small a capital A, or I can go for the production A gives small b. Okay, so let us proceed ahead and write the small b production. So go to I2 on small b gives I4, or you could have done for the previous production, that is A gives small a. Okay, so now you don't have to write both of these. Okay, you just write one of these, that is enough. So let us write this down, and then let me change this and we will go step by step. Means as we have written the A production, which gave the A gives small a capital A, so I will first of all do the state for small a. Okay, which is A gives dot A capital A. So what I will write is A gives small a dot capital A, and as there is a non-terminal after the dot, I will write the productions of A after this. Okay, now we have completed for the first production of A. Now we will proceed ahead and do for the I2 production, that gave A gives dot B. Okay, I will just write this part. Okay, so this is the final state only because dot is at the final position. Okay, so we have completed the I2, you can see. Okay, so now let us write for I3. So I3 on small b will give me the I6 state. Okay, so I3 on small b gives me the I6 state, that is S gives small a capital A B dot. Okay, this is a final state, so underlined. Now I will do for the I4 states. So first production. So I4 on capital A gives I7. Okay, so I7, and I will write A gives small a capital A dot. Okay, now we will proceed ahead to the next production, that is A gives dot A capital A. So I4 on small a gives, wait, we don't have to write the next production as it is the same as the I4 state. Okay, let me show you why. Okay, so when we did the I4 on small a, it gave me like this, and after dot there is a capital A, so I will write the productions of A like this. Okay, and this whole thing is same as that of I4, so I can write it as I4 on small a gives I4 diagonally. Now let us proceed ahead and do for the small b part. So I4 on small b will give me this I5 state, as it will be A gives B dot only. Okay, now we have completed the states. Let me just underline all these states and the important parts. Okay, so let me just zoom out and we will proceed ahead and make the table. Okay, for that let me just take out another page, and then I will first of all make the action go to part, and then we will write the shift entries and then the reduce entries. Okay, so let us write it down. In the action you will write all the terminals, that is the small symbols, and you will write non-terminals inside the go to part. Okay, and then I will write the number of states like 0 1 2. Okay, this is the format of how the SLR table has to be made. Okay, so let us make the table now, and then we will enter the shift entries and the reduce entries. Okay, and in the state part you just have to write the 0 in place of I0 state, and for all the states. Okay, so if there were like 10 states, you would write 0 1 2 3 till 10. Okay, so now let us write it down. So there are 7 states, so I will write from 0 till 7. Okay, so 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, now what I will write is I will write the terminals now. So how many terminals are there? There are like small a, small b, and the dollar part, which we included in the follow. So small a, small b, and the dollar part. Okay, so now we will write the non-terminals. So that are the S and A. Okay, so let us write it down. So S over here and then A. Now we will mark some lines and then we will start entering the shift and reduce parts. Okay, so first of all, S, the starting symbol was completed in the I1 state. Okay, so in I1, that is 1, I will write the except under the dollar. Okay, by default you have to write this wherever, in whichever state the starting symbol has been completed. Okay, so now let us go ahead and write for the states. Okay, so on I0 and S we got I1 state. So in go to part I will just write the integer, that is 1. Okay, state number. Now in the I2 state it was like I0 on small a gave me I2. So I will write the S2 over here. In the action I will write S and the number of the state, and in the go to part I will only write the number of state. So in I2 on capital A it gave me the state 3, and in I2 small a, it gave me the state 4, so S4. Now in I2 small b, it gave me I5, so I will write the S5 over here because it is under the action. Then in I3 small b, it gave me the state 6, so S6, as it is also under the action. Now in I4 and capital A, it gave me the state 7, so I will write only state number 7. Now over here it gave me the state 4, so I4 on small a gave me the state 4 only, and then over here in B part it gave me the fifth state, so I will write S5 under the B. Okay, so we have completed the shift entries. Now we will write the reduce part. Okay, and for reduce part, what you will do is you will write the state number which has the final state, that is the dot is at the end, and then you will find the follow of that, and after that you will just enter the state inside the follow part. Okay, so action is si and go to is I only, that is the state number. For reduce entries, we will first of all find the final states. So let us go to the state parts. So this is, we will leave this part, we'll proceed ahead, and here it is the I5. Okay, so I5, and then we have the I6, then we have what, I7. Yeah, so we have got the three states. Now we will find the follow of that. So I5 is A gives B dot, so we will find the follow of A. Okay, so follow of A, that is R3. Okay, R3 because A gives dot B is 3 over here. Okay, and then in I6 it is R1. Okay, and then for I7 we have the R2, that is A gives small a capital A. Okay, so I will write R2 over here. Now we will find the follow of that. So R3 means what? A gives dot B, so we will find the follow of A in the first part. So like that, don't be confused. Okay, so we'll find the follow of A in this first part. So we will write follow of A, which is the small b only. Okay, small b. Now we will find for the R1 for the next state. So R1 is the S production, so we will find the follow of S, and follow of S is dollar, so I will write dollar over here. Okay, so dollar. Yeah, now we will go for the I7, that is R2, and R2 is A, so we will find the follow of A over here. So follow of A, which is small b. Okay, so small b. Now what I will do is I will write R3 in the I5 and B cell. Okay, so I5 small b cell, I will write R3. So let us write it down. Just like this, I will write R1 in the I6 dollar cell and R2 in the I7 B cell. Okay, so let us write it down. So I5B, I will write the R3. Okay, in the I6 dollar, I will write the R1, and in the I7B, I will write the R2. Okay, so let us write it down. So R2. Okay, so we have completed the shift and reduce entries in the SLR parsing table. Okay, so we have to check whether the grammar is SLR grammar or not. As we don't have any double entries in this table, we can directly say that the given grammar is a SLR grammar. Okay, so we will conclude this. Let us make the go to graph as well. So go to graph. So in this graph you have the source state, and there is a transition label. So if there is a state like this one, so I0 on capital S goes to the I1 state. So in the source state I will write the I0, then on transition label, that is E, will go to the I1 state. So I will have the I0 as source over here, and I will write S as the transition label, and then in the destination part I will just write the I1. Just like this we will complete for all the other states. So we got I2 from I0 only with the transition label as small a. So I'll write I2 over here. Okay, so now let us proceed ahead to the next state. So we got I3 when we got the transition label as capital A from I2 state. So we will make an arrow from I2, write capital A over here, and then I3. Okay, now for I4 we got there with the transition label as small a from the I2 state. So source I2, transition label small a, and destination was I4. Now we have I5 state. Source was I2, transition label was small b. So from here arrow, then small b transition label, and destination will be I5. Okay, we can make this any way possible, but you just have to understand that you will have the source, then the transition label, and then the destination. Okay, so after this we have the I7 from I4, transition label capital A, which gave me the destination as I7. Okay, so now we have the I4 on small a, which gave me the I4 only. So there will be a self loop on the I4. So I4, and then I will have small a as the transition label. Okay, so let us make the self loop over here, and then small a as the transition label. And then we have this I4 on small b, which gave me the I5 state. So we will make arrow from here till the destination I5, and we will have the transition label as small b. So we have completed the go to graph over here, and as there were no double entries in the SLR parsing table, we will conclude that the grammar which was given to us was a SLR grammar. Okay, so let us write it down, the final answer. As there are no double entries in the SLR parsing table, the grammar given to us is a SLR grammar. Okay, so as there were no double entries in the table, the given grammar is SLR grammar. Okay, so is SLR grammar. So what would have been the condition for the non-SLR grammar? So here is an example. I have made the parsing table for the SLR. So I have stated that if there was table like this, and we have the double entry in the cell 2 comma a like S4 and R1, then this would have been not a SLR grammar. Okay, so we would write, as we have double entries in the table, the given grammar is not a SLR grammar. Okay, so as there are double entries in the table, the given grammar is not a SLR grammar. Okay, so let us write it down. The given grammar is not a SLR grammar. Okay, don't get confused with this part. This was just an if condition, that if there were double entries in the SLR parsing table, then we would have written it like that. Okay, so let me write SLR parsing table over here. I have highlighted the important stuff. Okay, so let me just zoom out this, and we will see the first sheet and then the second one. Okay, so if you want to take a screenshot, you can take one. We just found the first and follow, then we wrote the augmented grammar, and then found the states. Then we had the SLR parsing table. Then we entered the values of the shift entries and the reduce entries. Then we made the go to graph, and then as there were no double entries in the table, what we wrote was, as there are no double entries in the table, the given grammar is SLR grammar. Okay, so thank you guys for watching the video. Do like, share and subscribe. Also, comment down below if you are having any doubts, and if you want to access complete video series on a particular programming language, then go to my playlist section and you can access them. So see you all in the next video. Till then, study more, worry less, and all the best for the upcoming exams. Bye bye.